I thank you, Honourable Presiding Member. We are debating today an amendment to the Constitution that was precipitated by an immense struggle of the people. It is that struggle that created a sense of urgency and it moved the opposition to table the 21st Amendment, which called for the abolition of the executive presidency, and moved the government in the meantime to bring this particular amendment, the 22nd Amendment, in order to, what we were told was to curtail the powers of the presidency to some extent, to try and take it as close as possible to the 19th Amendment position before they consider a new constitution whereby abolition can be considered. Now, when such amendments are being considered, Honourable Presiding Member, parties such as us, obviously, and I presume that's the case with all parties here, will have to view those amendments from the standpoint of their respective constituents. Now, as far as the Tamil people are concerned, and I would go beyond and say the other minor nationalities in this country are concerned, the executive presidency was always seen as a positive feature. It was seen as a positive feature because it was a direct election. Sri Lanka has by and large a two-party system. The JVP and now the JJB have become a strong contender as a third party, but still has traditionally been a two-party system where you have block votes. And when you have a direct election from the whole country as an electorate, the non-Sinhala ethnic component plays somewhat of a major part. And that in fact has been the case in the past. And so in that sense, whilst the problems faced by the Tamil people have existed before the executive presidency was never resolved, it continues to be faced by the people even after the executive president system was introduced. But at least for the question of electing a president, the Tamil people and the Muslims have a significant say. I mean, of course, you have elections like the last one in 2019, where you have President Gotabaya Rajapaksa getting elected by unprecedented margin. When those sort of elections take place, then it's a different matter. But no one can deny the fact that in a presidential election, the non-Sinhala ethnicities play a major say in general. So doing away with the executive presidency is to some extent doing away with the very limited leverage that we can say we have. And yet when the people's struggles were taking place over the last few months, our party has come on record saying that we will support such efforts if there are changes being contemplated that incorporate our concerns as well. And it is on that basis that we said that even though this is the only very few elements of leverage that we may have, we are willing to consider giving it up if the ethnic conflict can be also addressed and resolved. But none of that has been happening here. None of that has been happening here, and instead we are bringing about an amendment. We are told to try and democratize Sri Lanka. Now, is that in fact happening? The answer is no. None of the powers of the executive president has been in any way curtailed through this amendment, that we all know. That we all know. We are told that there is some form of democratization oversight through the commissions. But that also we know, the president need not appoint the commissions. If he in fact does, even then the government will have control. So I don't understand where there is going to be independence, nor do I understand how there is a democratization process that is going on. But what we are doing, Honourable Presiding Member, is that we are propping up a rogue government. We are propping up a rogue government if we support this amendment. Because in no way does this democratize Sri Lanka. What it does is that you are giving a lease of life to a government that is illegitimate. That is illegitimate. That does not have a mandate other than the 130 odd members of this House who voted a president. But you're giving the perception, because that is how the media has been manipulated, that there is something positive that is taking place. That there is something positive that is taking place, and therefore we all have to support it. And the tragedy is that the opposition is going along with it. Knowingly or unwittingly, they are going along with this drama of this government, this rogue government, trying to show that they are actually doing something positive for this country in the form of a democratization process. One wonders whether there is opposition today. One seriously wonders whether there is opposition today. The only thing, Honourable Presiding Member, that these supporters of this amendment can point to and say that there is a definite so-called positive step is that of making sure that a dual citizen cannot come to any responsible top positions. That is the only claim to forward claim that this amendment can point to. But what does that make? What position does that put the Tamil people in? We have no problems with dual citizens. This country chased our citizens out. Half our population is abroad. Our brains are abroad. And now it's not only our population, it is yours as well. You have chased the brains of the Sinhala people also abroad. People who can genuinely contribute to this country. It is because of your ineptness, your corruption, and you being the enemy of the genuine people who could have brought the brains to this country, that they are abroad, minting money and helping other countries do even better. And here we are with a begging bowl. Here we are with a begging bowl. Some country like the United States can say that a foreigner cannot, or a foreign-born person cannot become president. They can afford to say it because everyone wants to go there. In Sri Lanka, everybody wants to leave. Everybody wants to leave, and you bring in a law saying that all the brains that have run out also you stay out. So that the muck that remains in this country, who can't actually go abroad, can take us even further down. That is what you're doing. Why should the Tamils suffer for that? Why should we suffer for that? We want our diaspora to help us. We want our diaspora to come and take responsible positions. We have confidence in our diaspora that they will not sell us. That they will do things that is in our right interest. You don't want the proper dual citizens to come back. You only want crooks to come back. That is your problem. That is not the problem of the people. So you brought a crook. Now because you want that crook out, you bring in an amendment to the law. Here half the members in the opposition stood up and spoke, saying that all the amendments that have been brought since the 78 constitution was passed was based on some individual fantasy of the leader or the parties, respective parties' wishes.
Honourable Member, you have 2 more minutes.
Respective parties' wishes. Well, this is also the same amendment. You don't want a particular person. That is the true reason why this amendment is brought. You think that there is, by keeping that person out, you can blame it on that person. All the wrongs can be blamed on that one person. And you all can be seen as actually reformers. That is what you're trying to do. And the opposition is playing along with this facade. Playing along with this, giving this fake amendment some sort of legitimacy so that the ultimate winner is President Ranil Wickremesinghe, where he can stand pretty, not having lost any of his powers, having total control of everything, and actually come out saying that, hey, look, I'm a reformer. I think that is sad, Honourable Presiding Member. So we will not be going along with that drama. Our people stand to lose in every sense of the word. Half our nation is disenfranchised for no fault of ours. For no fault of ours. And that is not something that we think is the correct move. You have not changed at all. All your decisions are based on all wrong considerations. You are going to continue making these wrong decisions, and you will continue to pull this country down. You will continue to pull this country down. And one day there will be a reckoning, and we hope that that reckoning comes earlier. Our complaint is that the Sinhalese people are taking far too long. What started a few months ago has now ebbed down. Ebbed down. You are losing the momentum. You are losing the momentum, and all the wrong decisions are going to come back. And that is what we are worried about. Thank you, sir.